Right there, welcome back to the channel, Stephen Howson, and 5 things that we learned watching Ruud's tricky Reds beat Leicester. Number 1, it was a comfortable victory, and it was a fun watch as well, which is something that we've definitely not been able to say for most of this season. Actually, I would say with Erik Ten Hag, there was a bit more spirit in the performance. I would say we seemed to have good periods of sustained control. There were rotations and fluidity, which was, I felt, probably the only major difference that I could visually see from what we saw under Erik Ten Hag and what we see under Ruud van Nistelrooy. Very minor tactical tweaks. The energy and the vibe and the performance was nice, and I thought that was like a real good sort of jumping off point for us. Now, as we know, we're going to have Ruud now until quite late in November, as Sporting have asked for Amorim to stick around for a couple of their big games. So we are going to see a little bit more of Ruud van Nistelrooy, and I quite like that, because one game might not have been enough. Number 2 then, Ugarte, class again. I think he's very capable of playing in a single pivot, as long as you've got 2 quite hard-working number 8s alongside him. But he definitely looked good in a double pivot, and him and Casemiro were real nice. And I think we are going to have to touch on the fact that this Leicester team is not going to be winning anything. It was a poor Leicester side, and it was a rotated Leicester side. But we can only beat what's in front of us, and sometimes we haven't done that. I thought Ugarte kept things nice and tidy. He was winning things high. He kept things very simple with the ball, and I got no issues with that whatsoever. He's got bite. He's got aggression. Probably man of the match, if it wasn't for all the goal-scoring exploits of everybody else around him, I think. But I really liked him. Maybe it just took a little bit of time for him to settle, but I think I like what he brings, and I can absolutely see him becoming a real fan favourite with the way that he plays the game. Because he just brings a sort of great energy and bite to everything, which sometimes is absolutely needed. Number 3, Casemiro. So another player that I thought looked loads better with players closer to him was Casemiro. Absolute rocket of an opener, unbelievable finish, and good idea to try it from there as well. And we could have been looking at a first half Casemiro hat-trick at one point, which almost defies belief, doesn't it? His vertical passing was a joy. His switches of play were a joy. He's shown a lot of real clever body positioning. He was showing to be press resistant. He was receiving the ball from the defence real nice. His ability in the opposition box is uncanny. He seems to always have a bit of a knack for a goal, and seems to always get on the end of some stuff, which is good. And I thought him and Ugarte look real nice together. That's got to be something that we try again in the future, particularly against teams where we might not want to, or we might not have the ball as much as we did against Leicester. Number 4, clinical. Finally, when we finish our chances, we look good. There's been and for the amount of people that are going to be like, well, that's what you get with Ruud van Nistelrooy. Christ on a bike. He might have had 2 training sessions with him, maybe 1. He's not improved anybody's finishing in that time. And considering he's been at the club months already. So you can't accredit the finishing to Ruud. It could have been just a little bit of luck that we managed to put the ball away, but we were clinical last night, and that's what's good. And there was a bit of electricity to our play when we broke forward. I did notice that we was getting numbers in the box. We scored 5 goals, and we probably should and could have scored more. The subs came on, looked bright and lively. Bruno looked good. He was close to getting a hat-trick as well. We did what a big side is supposed to do against lesser teams, and we punished them, and we put them on the back foot, and we scored goals, and then we kept scoring goals, and we didn't let up. As a fan, that's all you want to see. So, very happy with that. And then I would say the final one is, listen, it is an opportunity at silverware. Now, clearly it's silverware that wasn't good enough to keep Ten Hag around, but we're into the quarterfinals. We got Spurs away. We could go and win something here. Is it something where the new manager goes, let me just get that box ticked real quick, real easy? This squad seems to have a bit of a knack when it comes to cup runs. We've gone the distance. I mean, even when you think about, not all of the squad is here from Ollie, but there's a sizable number. while Ollie was here, we was getting to finals and semi-finals very regular. Under Erik Ten Hag, finals and semi-finals very regularly. Like, there is a cup factor, very much United in the 80s. Can't win a league for shit, but we can do well in the cups. So I think there's a genuine opportunity here for Amorim to start his Manchester United career well with a trophy, which would not be a bad thing. So that's it. And a nice short and sweet one today. I will do player ratings because I'm conscious of 5 things where we haven't really touched on Bayern Day. And we want to listen. There was some things that weren't good, Xerxes being one of them, and I will touch on that in a lot more depth in player ratings, which is going to be out shortly. So stick around, subscribe if you haven't already, and player ratings will be out in a few hours. So I'll see you for that. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, 5-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.